All right, guys, we are live. So go ahead and share up and then we will get started.
All right, let we talk, let we talk.
All right, make sure we're good to go. All right, perfect. Yeah, so go ahead and share up and then we will get started. Good night, everybody. I see we got some people tuned in already. All right. Hey guys, good night everybody.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good night.
All right, so I see we have some people tuned in already, so I am sharing it up. Hold on.
Yes, and for everybody tuned in, please make sure you're sharing it. If you are tuning in, don't just tune in to listen, make sure you're sharing it. Very important discussion. I'm ready to talk. Let we talk.
All right, guys, I think we shared it up. So let's go ahead and start in a quick prayer and then we could get this thing going. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us all here tonight to talk about such an amazing topic that we really, really need to discuss. We thank you for everyone that's going to view the live. We ask that you bless all the families. We want to shout out our graduates. Congratulations to them. Bless them on their journey. This is a big step for them. We just ask that you bless everyone on the live, bless their family, bless our panelists and our special surprise guests. And we are so excited about all the great things that will come from this conversation. Get all the glory. Amen. All right.
Amen.
All right.
I know we're getting started now, Dior Baba. How you doing personally? Everything's good with you?
I am good. I'm good. How's everybody doing? Today was an exciting day for me. I got to do a little special thing with the seniors, the graduating seniors on St. John. So we did a little tramp, a little, high school tramp. And then we went out to Peace Hill and did some photographs out there for them. So it was really, really exciting. Shout out to VIPD and VIFD, Pipers, Baye, everybody kind of came together. That's how St. John rocks. So it was really, really fun. So yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah. Yo, big up to all the graduates, right? To graduate in these times, they're going to be the first ever, right? I mean, meaning in our time to be able to say that they went through a pandemic and still graduated. That's a story and a message in itself. So they persevered through the pandemic, man. So big shout out to all the graduates.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with some introduction. Sherman, since you already kind of took it away, let's go ahead with your introduction first.
All right, so first of all, let me just say good evening, Virgin Islands. My name is Sherman Browne, your very own St. Jonian. I'm proud St. Jonian, but I am the founder and CEO of AIMHIGH Empowerment Institute, which is an organization that's really focused on helping young people in particular to improve what we call their MAPS, right? We're trying to help them navigate life by improving their MAPS. And what we call their MAPS, MAPS is actually an acronym, MAPPS. They're mental, academic, personal, professional, and social outcomes. So we have about 435 students that we operate with here in New York City, 13 schools that have us running AIMHIGH fully as a part of their school curriculum. And we work with thousands of students every year through what we call our Epic Impact event. So I'm glad to be here with Society 340. Let we talk with this new partnership as we work with thousands of students. As we work to, positively impact our community and talk about this important topic of mental health. We talk with this as a partnership as we work with thousands of students. Yeah, it's just some feedback there, but it's okay if they hear it twice, right? Double it up. Yes, yes, and that's who I am, and that's what we do, and I'm passionate and fired up to talk about this important topic that I think is much overlooked and needed for the U.S. Virgin Islands in particular.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Genece, you can go ahead and take it away.
Good night. My name is Genece Matthias. I am from Maryland. However, my family, of course, is from down here. So I have my master's in social work. I'm a licensed social worker and therapist, and I have now relocated to address mental health in the VI.
Awesome, awesome. And Ms. Powell?
Good evening, everyone. Let's talk, let's talk. So again, shout out to all the graduates for the class of 2021. My name is Deitra Powell. I am the school registrar of GSE Sprout School, and I am here to support Society 340 with the mental health illness situation. It's definitely special and close to my heart. So Dior volunteered me to do this, but I rock with it. So let we talk, let we talk.
All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and talk. So let's talk about, like what is mental health?
Yeah, so I'll just jump in there. You could give sort of a textbook definition of mental health. I think it's something that's often misconstrued, and there's often misconceptions about mental health. But to keep it very simple, mental health is everything to do with the mental well-being of your mind. Right? Very simple. It's about the well-being of your mind. And if you think about everything socially, emotionally, psychologically that affects your brain, right? Your mental health is how well are you taking care of your mind? I'll give you an example, right? In order for us to take care of our bodies, right? We do exercise. And during this pandemic, I gained some weight too, right? And when I gained weight during the pandemic, it's because I wasn't working out too often. But think about your mental health in this way. You have your brain, your mind that operates 24/7, right? Even when you're sleeping, it's still running. If you're not doing exercises for your mind to take care of your mind, you might run the risk of having poor mental health. So mental health has everything to do with the state of your mind, and it's really about the mental well-being of your mind. Now, too often, people misconstrue this with mental illness, which is something a little different, right? Mental illness has to do with things like disorders, depression, anxiety disorders. If you're talking about schizophrenia, if you're talking about bipolar, these are mental disorders, which are a little different, having a mental illness than just working on your mental health. So tonight, what we want to do is debunk the whole stigma behind mental health, because mental health is a thing that we need to take care of. All of us, each and every one of us, deal with mental health issues as we deal with the daily stresses of life. And tonight we're going to talk about this topic so that people can get comfortable speaking and talking about the issues around mental health.
Right, right. Genece, Deitra, you want to add in anything to that? I mean, that's tough to follow, but
I think that was a great definition. A lot of people think, mental health is something really dramatic or like something far out there, and it's really not. It's really just your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings. And everyone has thoughts, emotion, and feelings. So it's something that everyone has, and we really have to start normalizing conversations about it and things to do to improve our mental health.
Right, I agree. What about you, Deitra? Anything you want to add?
Sherman basically said everything, but again, especially with dealing with different stress, when people take on more than one jobs, it's definitely important to make sure that you take time to yourself to make sure that your mental health is in the right state of mind before taking on any other task. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, mental health it's something that, it just has this huge stigma. When we think of mental health, we think of, people that are homeless or people that are struggling from like drug abuse issues, but it just goes much further than that. And then also, for me, mental health is also self-care. We have to take care of our own minds. And so, I'm just really, really glad that we're diving into this. And I'm really, really looking forward to the conversations that it's going to happen tonight. So let's talk about, what mental health or how mental health looks here versus in the States. What does mental health look like on St. John versus, in Atlanta or New York?
So for one, I know like down here, it's a lot of, we don't tell people our business. So how in the States, some people will go to a therapist to talk or to deal with their mental health. Down here, it's really like, why would you pay somebody to tell them your business? But the thing about going to a therapist is more than just venting. So when you go to a therapist, you talk about your problems, but then you also learn things and ways and mechanisms and stuff to deal with it. So if you're suffering with anxiety, your therapist will teach you different tools to use to help you with that anxiety. So it's different from just going to a friend and talking about it and getting it off your chest. Like with a therapist or a professional, they'll give you ways and tools to work through these different things that you're dealing with. Also down here, when people are having episodes, a lot of people say, oh, like the family should help them, or like you blame the family. But like Sherman brought up, mental health and physical health is pretty much the same. So if you have a family member with cancer, but don't want to do nothing about it, or not doing the things that they're supposed to do, it's really nothing the family member can do. So it's the same for mental health. If you have a family member who has a mental illness and they're not doing, or they're not ready to seek help, it's nothing the family member can do. There are small or lower mental illnesses, like some people are able to recover from depression. Like usually everyone goes through a depressive state, especially now with COVID. So people can really recover from that. Other things like schizophrenia and stuff, people, have to take medications or do other things. And if they're not ready to do that, it's really nothing the family can do.
Right.
Yeah, and even as Genece just mentioned that, one of the things, because she mentioned the difference, because especially in the Caribbean, right? I remember growing up on St. John, and you look at somebody, and if they look like they're not acting the right way, the first thing we say is, yo, that dude, they para, that's a para dude, that's the type of thing we do. And what happens is we don't understand that the stigma that we put towards talking about mental health, stigma leads to shame. Shame leads to anger. Anger leads to a sense of unworthiness. And what happens is we got to get to the point where we recognize that everything that people go through, right, it's just like all of us. We're trying to balance a lot of different things in our life. I call it the F7, right? You get up every day, and when you walk out on the street, you're trying to balance your faith, your family, your fitness, your finances, the fun that you want to have, the friends that you have, and the fitness or the fulfillment that you want to have in your life. And those 7 things that you're trying to manage, right, is a lot to be on the human mind. And guess what? Your mind is with you how often? 24/7. So the things that you repeat to yourself over and over and over again have an effect on you. But then when people on the outside are also stigmatizing it, right? Calling you para, saying, mad, sick, head no good, right? He's crazy, he's psycho. It doesn't help, because then it doesn't give us any incentive to want to seek help. And I think that if we begin by trying to break that stigma around mental health and say, look, mental health is just mental wellness. How do I cope with stress? How do I cope with the situations of life? It becomes much easier for us to address it in that way.
And with you saying that, I'm sorry, it's so important that we do address that, because one of my jobs, I'm a therapist at a middle school in Maryland, and I had like majority of my caseloads are kids who are suicidal, whether it's just the ideations or they tried to kill themselves. And most of it is because they feel like they're by themselves, or, they can't handle this. And I have to explain to them, what you're going through, everyone has been there. We've all been overwhelmed sometimes. Those feelings are natural. So by breaking the stigmas and like really expressing that what we're going through or what you're going through, everyone goes through, it's really important that we do that for the kids, because they think, oh, I'm going through something, or I can't make it, so I'm not good enough, not knowing that everyone feels this way sometimes.
Yeah.
And also to piggyback on what Sherman said is like, when you, like in the States, there's different shelters for the homeless. And then in the VI, it's just like, where do they go? Me personally, again, this touched home because I dealt with it with my brother. And so just like coping with the family, trying to find the resources. Again, Genece said it, if they don't want help, there's nothing much that you can do. So how do we go about changing that in the VI?
That's actually a great point that you just bring up there, Deitra, because to change something, right, you first have to confront it. You have to recognize that it's an issue. And I think for many Virgin Islanders, sometimes we pass off these things like it's not a big deal, right? You could take care of it. It's not, you're just going through a childhood situation and it's not a big deal, but it affects us in great ways. So the only way we could change it is if we confront it, and we have to confront it by first calling it out and saying, guys, look, dealing with your mental health is not a bad thing. We have right now, according to Mental Health America, they say that 60% of young people go along their life with depression that is never treated. 60%. Imagine these young people who don't know how to express, don't know how to deal with the stresses that they're going through, that go completely untreated. And then the ones who are getting treated, only about 27% of them get consistent treatment. So imagine, right, for a young person who's trying to cope through COVID, right, who's dealing with bullying and stuff that's happening in the schools, dealing with looking at social media and feeling a way about their life based on what they're seeing, dealing with trauma in their life. How do they cope and how do they deal with it? And we wonder, well, why do we see so much violence, right, whether it's in New York or in the islands? Because the only thing, particularly, let me talk about young men, the only thing that we okay for young men to do is express anger. Right? So you can't express your feelings. Don't talk about your feelings because you're soft, right? Don't tell everybody your business, right? Keep it to yourself. So now they don't express that, but they could express anger, because anger gives you bravado. It gives you this macho type of vibe. And when a young man picks up a gun now, starts shooting in the street, it's because, look, I could express myself in that way. So it's become so important that we have the resources, right, that young people could get access to deal with mental health issues, right? And first confronting it, calling it out, and recognizing that it's not a problem to have a conversation. The key to connection is conversation. The key to conversation is to ask questions. And that's what we need to do. Talk, ask the questions, and figure out what more we could do. Yeah.
I want to be sure that we're including, keeping the viewers and their comments. So I just want to go through some of their comments real quick. Kay Williams said, yes, that is so true. I work at the Harris Center Mental Health IDD in Houston, and I see all of these things every day. Julia Joseph Mingo said, we have to give children less adult responsibilities. Children are exposed to so much. I think that's so true. And then our administrator shared the STJ Department of Health Mental Health, I guess the number. Delry Stevens, some people don't want to express themselves because they feel others will look down on them. The stigma in our islands is definitely real, most definitely. Kejani Alfred, in addition, there is a fear that these stigmas create. Zaid said, St. John people already know your business though. So it's definitely true. But that's true, that's true. And I think exactly what Zaid said too. I think that makes this whole thing, more difficult to deal with. But for me, it creates a unique, St. John is a unique place. So mental health is a unique, it's a unique topic because, it's St. John and everybody thinks they know everybody's business, but, it also creates, we have a special kind of community. So, we kind of step in when we should, and so, but it's a blessing and a curse, most definitely.
Absolutely. And that's why I think it's very important that we start normalizing the conversations around mental health. So that way we could break the stigma, right? We could hope to stop, people from looking at it in that way. If we all, right, start advocating and talking about the fact and sharing the stories of our mental health journey. We just went through a pandemic. My businesses, right, that I run in New York, a large part of my business has to do with schools, right? Because I work with tons of schools. When COVID hit, and they shut down all the schools, that was 70% of my business that had to be on hold, right? But I still got a family to deal with. I still got a daughter that I want to take care of. What happens in my mind at that point in time? There's a lot of things that you have to take care of. I have my loved ones who have to take care of. And I could have looked at that and said, hey, you know what? Let me not talk about it. Let me just keep it to myself. But for me personally, I said, you know what? I need to go to some level of therapy to have discussions about it, to help me figure out how to cope through this process. And luckily, I have other businesses that help out as well. But that part of my business took a hard hit. And when I was comfortable enough to say, I will talk to somebody about it, I found that there was great opportunity by having somebody else talk to me. Because here's the fact, guys, you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. I'll say it again. Let me pull that up, right? I know we got the Rain Man on, right? Let me pull it up again. You can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. If you see this picture back here, if you were inside the frame, you couldn't see yourself. But somebody from the outside could see. And when you bring a therapist, right, or somebody who's a licensed, like a Genece, right, to talk with you, they're licensed to help you get through the process. So it's not about keeping you in the stigma. It's saying, look, you're in the frame and you might not be able to see everything. I'm here to give you some help and to guide you through that process. And that's great for all of our mental well-being.
All right, well, you mentioned our special guest, so let's go ahead and bring him in. Hello there, special guest.
Yo, let's give him a big round of applause, man. It's, the Rain Man is in the house.
In the house. Thank you
for
joining us. I know you are very, very busy, and so I definitely appreciate you blessing us with your presence. And I know when I reached out to you, you said that, you know, this is definitely something that is, you know, has a special place in your heart. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself for, I mean, the two people who may not know you.
Oh, good night, everybody. My name is Rain. A lot of you probably know me as Rain Man. Probably know me by Stampede Custom Tees, Trill Figure brand, or just from seeing me performing on a stage with your favorite artists.
Yeah.
Me or like, y'all been dropping some gems tonight. This whole mental health thing, that's like big. Like 2020 was a big year for me as far as like mental health and stuff like that. 2021, I kind of feeling like, you know what I'm saying, like we on the path, like the path where I need to be. Like I feel like I kind of gain a hang of everything.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit, you know, since we surprised the people, you know, tell us a little bit, you know, touch on what mental health means to you, or, you know, give us a little more.
Okay, so backtrack a little bit. Let's say probably like, I would say like 2013 was like my first time ever like having any type of running with like mental health, mental issues, whatever. For the most part, like I always been like, I don't want to say naive, but you know, you just used to feel like at a certain age, certain things can happen to you, or certain things like you don't want to see on TV and what's not. But I started dealing with like anxiety. Like I used to get like random anxiety attacks, and to be honest, I didn't even know what it was. Like I remember one time, a doctor had mentioned it to me, and I was just like, anxiety. Like that only happens to white people.
No fact.
So no, all the time, like I might be like, you know, you probably might get like this feeling in your stomach, like, you know, you probably get a little stressed, and then you know, just like your mind racing, and you want to know like what's going on with you. So now I start to think like maybe something wrong with me, maybe I have a sickness or a disease or some crazy nonsense. So I on Google every minute trying to figure out what's going on. And that it just spiraled me down into like depression and all kind of craziness. But like I said that to say like it was just like a journey from just having like one anxiety attack to kind of starting to figure out, okay, what's anxiety? Let me do research on it. And you know, just through doing my own research, I realized like a lot of my peers, there's a lot of people around here that suffer with similar situations. And I think what my biggest issue was is that I very like goal oriented, very success driven and stuff like that. Like I big on like trying to prove people wrong. And I used to go, I was going UVI, and in my senior year, I drop out. And when I tell my parents I drop out, my mother could have catch a stroke. I said, like, you drop out of school, what are you gonna do? I say, I'm gonna start a business, man. Everything gonna be good. And my father was like, what business? You know, and everybody was like discouraging me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I like, trust me, I gonna be good. So it was just like, I don't naturally put a lot of pressure on myself.
Right.
So being a now, I taken on the stress of trying to prove to my parents that I could be successful. Like I don't necessarily need to go to at college. I don't need a my degree to do whatever. Because initially, I was going to college to study music education, and I was doing internships, and then I started to teach. I was teaching music at Moravian School, and I realized like I mean, I love music, but I can't see myself waking up every day to teach these children, man, because some of them rude. And then like the man know me from like playing in the band. So like they feel like we on the same tip. They feel like, yeah, Rain, man, what's going on? And I was like, nah, you're not type of tip. You come in my classroom this good afternoon, Mr. Chesterfield.
Right.
So I realized that wasn't for me. So I had other little skills or whatever. So I said, let me go in a business realm. And then when I started to like step my foot into the water, I realized like, wow, there's a lot more than I really thought it was. But at the end of the day, I didn't back down. But apart from that, just, life came at me. Like I had a baby on the way. Fast forward, pandemic hit. So the music thing, I was basically surviving off of music. The music hot and cold. So it's like you kind of had to like be strong mentally in order to kind of make things happen. If you check what I'm saying. And through just that journey of just like pushing myself, it pushed me to kind of seek some type of enlightenment. Like I needed to speak to a professional, like, okay, let's talk about mental health. What some things that I could do to, help me process some of the stress I had to deal with on a regular basis. And, I'm saying, I end up starting to go to like therapy, like once a week, just to talk to somebody. And, I understand, like I begin to understand a lot of what used to trigger me, like a lot of things that I used to do, like, whereas let's say with my business, I would want to put my hand in everything. Like I want to do everything. Like if let's say I hire somebody to work for me for the day, and I just used to be over them 24/7, just like making sure everything's perfect. And for me, it's just like I have to, because like as a perfectionist. But what I realize is that kind of messing with me mentally. Like you kind of have to learn how to sit back and you hire somebody to do a job. You trust that they'll be able to do the job properly. I'm saying, yeah, here and there in business, you might have a mishap here and a mishap there, but 9 times out of 10, once you train this person correctly, they're gonna do what needs to be done. So I kind of had to learn to like take a step back. I had to learn to like, Rain, you can't do everything, because it had a point in time where it's like I producing music, I writing songs, I still in the studio with shop, or I in the shop printing shots, or I designing flyers. Like I trying to do everything. I trying to be everything to everybody and also to myself. And I realized that you destroying yourself. You got, take a step back, take a break. And what I'm saying, I learn like different techniques. Like I learn like, if you're feeling stressed today, you work out. So I develop a habit of going to the gym every day. I learned the biggest thing is like rest. Like where I used to work Sunday to Sunday all the time, I might shop from 6 o'clock in the morning till like 6 o'clock the next morning. I realized weekend, you take the time out, spend some time with your family, take your son to the beach. Like, what I'm saying? Do things that gonna make you happy. And next thing is like, I mean, it probably could be a good thing, it probably could be a bad thing, but like I big on like retail therapy. So if I wake up today and I'm like, man, I want to buy a pair of sneakers, I go and buy. If I get like an opportunity to take a trip, and I know like, man, you have this amount of work to do, but then you could go Las Vegas. I can be like, wow, hey, what? Before I would have tried to do everything, but now I can be like, hey, what? I can do half, then I go hire somebody to do the rest, and I go in Las Vegas. You check? So
no, that's really important.
Yeah, so I kind of learned a lot of tricks to control the madness. But I feel like a lot of my peers or a lot of people in our community, they never tap into the resources that we have on island to kind of learn how to balance out their mental health. Even as something as simple as cleaning up your circle around you, like, because I big on energy. I big on transferring energy and stuff like that. Because like I feel like if I hang around somebody and they are always depressed, if their energy stronger than mine, I gonna naturally pick up their energy and I gonna start to develop that depression or start to be walking around moping and stuff like that. So even just as far as like cleaning up my circle, and you know, I am big on like do unto others as you have them do unto you. Like whatever type of energy you want come back to you is the type of energy that you want to put out. So like even just like little stuff like that just give me a peace of mind.
Yeah, if I could jump in there, Dio, because I think even in unpacking, right, what Rain just talked about, right, there's a number of things there, right, that again, all play a role, right, in what happens to us, right? He said something that we laughed at a while ago, right? He said, I said, nah, man, that happened to white people. And in our community, particularly the Caribbean, right, the Black community, that's the thing. We think these things are, no, it's somebody else deal with it. We don't deal with that, right? And again, that's because of training that came down from so far. So he was wondering, what is this? I'm going through all of this. I don't know what this is. What is this that's happening? And sometimes when you don't know it yourself, he knows music, right? He knows, you know, printing. He knows that. But there's somebody like Genece who knows about mental health because she studied it. She studied the mind. She's studying the psychological things that we're going through. So Rain Man recognized, right, that I could go ahead and ask somebody for help who's a professional, right? Who understands it, because like I understand what I do, they understand what they do. And that's why we got to open up ourselves to being willing to talk to other people, because again, Rain Man saw recognizing he could do different things. He don't just have to stick with it on his own. Yes, he could travel sometimes, and all of those things are necessary. The other thing about it is that he said, like, yo, I'm a perfectionist. I start to recognize this about myself. And a good thing that a good therapist would do would go through the process of trying to help you not just recognize that this is what you do, but try to help you understand why you do it, right? The why behind what you're doing. Because if you understand the why, then you could actually shift some of those things. You know, I'm a young man who don't like seafood. And for some people, they say, Sherman, that's blasphemy that you grew up on St. John and you telling me you don't like seafood, you don't like fish. I have a cousin who lived right there on St. John. I wouldn't call her name tonight because I don't want anybody to look at her away. But when I was younger, right, I remember going to Trunk Bay and she held my head down in the water, right? And it was for about 30 seconds. And I was at the time just about 7 years old. I remember flipping up, kicking, pushing my hands, couldn't get my head up. You know, from that day, anything that tastes like the sea, anything tastes like seawater, right? I don't like it. I just don't get it. So we got to understand, right, that when I was talking to my therapist and we were talking about why I don't like these things, she was able to bring me back to that time, right? She asked me about my stories, about my history, and we were able to pull out some of those things, unpack some of those things. And that's why this whole thing about talking to a therapist, right, and getting that assistance becomes so essential. You know, if I could switch gears a little bit, because I remember Deitra, right, was talking about what she went through, right? The fact that, because we're talking about it, and I think Rain Man gave a great perspective on when you're going through it yourself, right? But Deitra, it wasn't her going through it, but then she became a caretaker for somebody who's going through it. And I just wonder, Deitra, what were some of your raw feelings at that time when you know that somebody that you love, that you care about, was going through these mental health challenges?
Again, so being new to it and not like, I was trying to understand everything that's going on. Like, okay, first I know he needs help. So in order for him to get help, it was like, okay, I have to get him to agree with me. And that was the hardest thing ever, trying to get my brother to say, well, you know, I need help. Let's see what we can do. And so for me, it was like, I was going to lose my mind. I got to the point of dealing with him, and we're talking about from late night calls from the police department, like at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, your brother is doing this, so we can't really pick him up because he's not harming himself or anyone, but if you could come and talk to him, then, you know, we'll appreciate it. So I'm leaving my house at 2 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning, to go and physically deal with him. And I'm just sitting there and we're just like naturally talking. So for me, sitting with my brother is like, okay, like, you know, like, what's going on? Tell me, why am I out my bed at 3 o'clock in the morning? Why am I here? And so he's just talking and he seems normal. He seems fine. So I'm like, okay, nothing is wrong with him. So I go back home and then we start the routine all over again, but it's a different case. So it's never the same every day on with the incidents that occur. And so for my brother, let's skip through what I went through. So we have him being locked up, him being bullied, and they're calling him a dingy thief when a lot of people know my brother, whether it was his classmates. He did went jail, but those that were in jail among him knew of him because he's a person that fights fouls. He's a clean person. Everyone in the community knows my brother. So for those outside, again, looking at the big picture, so he's in the picture, but he's not seeing that he's doing anything wrong. But others are seeing, well, you know, he's thieving a dinghy, or he's making noise, he's dancing with dead cats. All sorts of things were being said, and it was just emotional for me. And I remember one time I got depressed, and I was just like, I found myself crying for no reason. And I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? So when I sat to myself, and I was just like, you know what, Deitra, maybe you should go seek help as well. So I had to stop answering calls. I had to put everything aside from him and just deal with myself. And so for me, I like to cook. So I just cooked, or I listened to music, or I even picked up and went to school. Like I had to stay busy, in other words, in order to get myself back to where I was. And then I was able to go back and help him. But one thing that I do know is that if anyone is suffering with mental illness, it could be a family member, it could be anyone, I would say stick with them, because for me, I felt like if I did not stick with my brother, then I probably would have lost him to the streets.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you brought that up. And Sherman, thank you for kind of turning gears, because, you know, that's something that is really special to me, because, you know, so often we only think of the people who are suffering from mental illness, and we often forget about the people who are, you know, their family members or friends that are dealing with those who are suffering. And, you know, it also causes them to suffer. And then it's even harder on them, because, you know, it's kind of like St. John, it's the forgotten ones, you know? So, you know, it's really hard, and it puts so much pressure on you. And then also, you know, kind of like what Genece said earlier, you know, you have all these outsiders who aren't dealing with it, who everybody has an opinion, and everybody, you know, everybody knows the solution and knows the answer, but, you know, they're not doing it. So, you know, I'm really glad that you're here, and, you know, I appreciate you, you know, just kind of sharing your story and your testimony. So definitely kudos to you for that. And I'm so glad that, you know, things worked out. So let's talk a little bit, like, what programs, or was there anything during your time that helped you through, like Rainman said, you know, working out and retail therapy, and, you know, those different things, and, you know, just basically taking care of himself. You know, what things were in place at that time that helped you pull through? I know when we spoke about it a while back, I know you touched on, you know, kind of getting to your breaking point, and then there was kind of like a shift. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Deitra, I think you got to unmute yourself.
There you go.
Oh, I thought she was talking to you, Sherman, but I could go first. So for me, let's see, what if I wasn't cooking, then I was listening to music. Like Rainman said, he did retail therapy. Not too much big on retail therapy, but I went to Mind, Body, and Soul in Haven-Site, and I was talking to a therapist. And she basically like walked me through, and she was like, again, earlier, what we spoke about, where everything happens for a time. So you just have to ride out your storm the best way you can, and eventually you'll be okay. So after going to therapy, I have yet to discuss with my brother, because I do want to take him back, but I'm not sure if he's ready. for that as yet. So the therapist is basically like, you know, why don't you try to get your brother to come to therapy with you, being that both of you were at a point where, you know, your mental health was a bit disturbed. So I did, but he has yet to show up. So that's what I did.
And I think it's okay, right? Because I think you're on mute, Dior, but I think that's okay, right? Because everybody, it's about timing, right? It's about the timing, and sometimes, you know, people aren't there yet. And that's where you lead by example, right? The eloquence of your words won't match the eloquence of your example. The example is everything. And the more you do it, right? And the more people could see the results that's happening with you, you know, it gives permission to other people to say like, hey, you know what? Look, my sister is doing it. I could do the same thing too. Rain Man come on here tonight and just shared with the world, right? Everybody who's watching, the millions of people who are watching Let We Talk from around the world in the Virgin Islands, right? They're seeing it and they're saying to themselves like, wow, if Rain Man could do it, right? If Deitra could do it, I could go out there and speak. It's not a problem. Things don't have to be perfect all the time. We don't always have to have all things together. And as a matter of fact, every day that we go through life, we're trying to balance all of these things. But the unfortunate reality is that every day we're going to fail at something. The key is, though, not to fail at the same thing every day. So today I might not be doing as much as I need to do for my mental, and I was focusing more on my business, but then tomorrow I might have to reduce what I'm doing on the business and focus on my mental. And it could, you know, you could transition in between those times. Yeah,
definitely. Deitra, touch on, you know, what things, programs, facilities, what's something that would have helped you get through your the process a little better during that time? During
the time, honestly, I did not reach out to many because I was just so swamped with dealing with him, making sure that I don't lose him. My main focus was I am not allowing mental illness to beat my brother. However, had I known now about counseling earlier, then maybe I would have walked him in myself, and then we would have sit and discussed that.
Mm-hmm. And I know you touched on, you know, having a safe space. Touch a little bit on that.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, he has a home. So let's talk about he's able to stay somewhere safe. And I'm thankful for that. Again, you do need support because my mom, she was in St. Thomas. I was not St. John. So there's nothing she could have done. So while I'm being strong for him, I'm trying to be mentally strong for her as well because she's breaking down in my ears crying. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot deal with this. So I was just the bigger person. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself. Just like Raymond said, he is a goal getter. So my goal was to make sure that I follow up with my brother. So we're talking about morning, afternoon, night. In the morning, I would get him breakfast because I have to go to work. I would go drop off the breakfast, make sure he's okay, to just check in on him. And then I would go to work. And then by the time I get home at night, I'm making sure that he has a hot meal. And I'm like, we're talking, and I'm like, make sure you stay inside. If you're gonna leave the house, call me, let me know, I'll come and meet you. So it's just basically following up with him. I think too is why he was able to just decide that, hey, sis, you know, I need help.
Right. Right. And then I know you were talking about, you know, just when they're, you know, having their, I guess, I don't know if, forgive me if I'm not using the right terminology, but like an episode. And, you know, they have to be somewhere, you know, I know you touched on sometimes you would lose sleep, you know, because you don't know if he's safe. You don't know, you know, after he has an episode and he says, I'm good, you know, you kind of give him a time to calm down. And then he says, you're good, or he's good, but you don't really know for sure. And it's kind of heavy on your heart and, you know, heavy on you. So I know you had touched about, you know, just having a safe space where they can just kind of go clear their head and you can kind of know they're safe, where it's not really like a facility or, you know, where they have to be held, but, you know, where they can go and feel welcome, and just have, you know, a community there, and where you can also be at home and know, okay, my family is safe, and he just, you know, needs some time to cool off or to, you know, just basically get through the episode.
Yeah, definitely. I wish we could find some kind of facility here in St. John where we can at least house those that are struggling with depression, those that need help. For instance, we have a lot of individuals out on the streets, and for me, when I see them, it's just like, you know, I would ask, hey, do you want something to eat? Do you want something to drink? And basically just treating them like a human being rather than seeing them, well, oh, she's suffering from mental illness, I could care less. So going through mental illness with my brother, definitely I now have an open heart more than ever before for the homeless, because it's like one minute you're here, and then the next minute, in a blink of an eye, you could decide to just go off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I want to loop in
about the VI versus the states. Mm-hmm. In the states, the homeless are able to walk in a shelter. Here in the VI, where can they walk in? Well, actually here on St. John, where can they go to, say, take a shower or just lay their head to sleep at night? Like,
just feel like
this is something.
I think sometimes, you know, we see those, you know, who are suffering from mental illness, and, you know, they may be on the streets, and we forget that they're human. You know, we walk by and, oh, that's a crazy man. And, you know, we just treat them a certain way, but they're still human. You can still stop, have a conversation with them. And, you know, I admire people, Doris Balak, I admire her so much. They kind of cling to her because she has that spirit where, you know, she makes them remember like they're still human, and she, you know, she's amazing. So I wish that more people would meet, you know, just realize they're human, and you know, it could really be us, because I think sometimes people also forget that, you know, they were once how we are right now. They were once that way too. And, you know, there's different things that you never know what's going to happen. And so, you know, you always just have to keep that in mind, and just remember, you know, how would you want someone to treat you if that were you? And then also for, you know, people who, you know, always have something to say about, you know, like someone like yourself who's dealing with a family member who's suffering from a mental illness at the time. You know, you don't know it until you live it, you know? And so sorry, I wanted to loop in the viewers again. Kijani Alfred, she has a great comment. She said, mental health is not recognized or accepted as a challenge in the Caribbean. As a result, we must unbox it and express what it is and how it can occur. Often in public schools, there are electives such as gym and art, but I believe there should be electives such as well-being to teach children how to manage their emotions and mental health.
Hey, facts, 100%.
Wow. That was definitely a good one.
Hey, wow. Let me say something about that, right? Because so it's crazy, right? Because I wholeheartedly 100% agree with that. I'll give you an example. Here in New York, we have a school called the Bronx Career and College Preparatory High School. They brought in AIMHIGH into the school, and they said, look, we want you to work with these students. We see how your organization connects with the students. And what we want to do is have you guys come in on a weekly basis to work with the students. We said to them, here's what we would like to do. We would like to be in the school, but we don't want to be an after school program. We want to be in the beginning of the school day. 8 a.m., we want the first class they come to is an AIMHIGH class. And when they come to that AIMHIGH class, we're going to work on mental well-being, getting their mind right before they go to the rest of the classes for the day. The principal just happened to be from St. Croix, right? And she lives in New York now. So she was like, yo, homie, let's go. Let's rock. We end up going in there. And in the first year, this school, right, is in the South Bronx. I'm talking about gutter, hood, right? Like hood. Every day, you like clockwork, fights break out all the time. They brought in AIMHIGH, and within the first year of doing this program, where we would work with the students in the morning and get their mental well-being right before they go through the rest of the day, they were able to reduce the amount of fights that they were having in the school by 46%. 46%. A reduction. If you ask the principal, she said when AIMHIGH came in here with the whole team and they were working with the students felt a sense of calm as they went through the rest of the day. So just like we teach math, science, right, social studies, all those things are important. but the mind is what we're going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives. So within the schools, there should be a focus on mental health and mental well-being. That's what we need to do. Hey, let's give her another shout out for that comment, and we gotta make sure we make some movement on that.
Yes, definitely. So shout out to Kajani Alpha for that amazing comment. Also, Julia, Joseph, and Rainman, I know you're in between stuff. So, you know, if you have to hop off, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you hopping on. But Julia Matthew said, you know, mental health shapes the future. You know, that's it right there. All right, later, Rainman. Some more comments. Let's see. Hold on. Balance and
quickly before you say our next comment. Sherman, remember we had a conversation about, you know, like how do we get these students that are traumatized from the hurricanes or that have broken homes? How do we touch base with these students? And I feel like Kajani just nailed it. Is to basically implement.
Not to cut you off, but I think it goes beyond the schools too, because we have to remember the parents and the home. You know, here is our tradition that we're supposed to be strong, and we're not supposed to say when something is okay. We're supposed to figure it out. You know, if your belly hurting, you drink water. You know, and we're supposed to be soft, or you know, we're just supposed to get through it. We're supposed to be resilient because we from the islands and we strong. And so I think that, you know, our parents also and grandparents and just our culture, we have to change it to, you have to be able to say when you're not okay. You know what I mean? So I think it goes beyond the schools as well. We have to start from the top, come down. But I definitely think the school is a good is a good place to start. But we have to change the stigma, man. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. And if I could just say in response to that point that you're making with the parents, right? I always say this, right? You can't take people further than you've been. And look, I could completely understand and empathize with the older generation, right? And those parents before who said, yo, you just got to figure it out. Don't be soft. Because for them, they probably didn't have access to the resources, the information. So what they did is they figured out a way to push through the pain, push through the circumstances. And what has happened is they get to a point where it's like, well, I know what I did and I know what worked for me. So I'm telling you the same thing that worked for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why it's very important that you have another set of young people, right? Many of us who got educated, right? Who understand trauma, people like Genece now, to go out there and bring that other message to say, look, grandma, what you're saying is absolutely true. We could push through certain things, but grandma, I also need the help as well. Grandma, you can't just tell me pray and God is going to take care of it. I need to pray and also be practical, right? And do both at the same time. I could pray and then at the same time still go and get assistance. So it becomes very important that we mend the two together. And to the point that Deitra was just making, right? It's really about what I call the triple R, right? The resources, the relationships, and then resilience, right? The resources, we need to know the resources of who we could go to, right? What facilities are down there, who could actually deal with these matters, the relationships, and build a connection or a network amongst, the different islands. So that way, when it comes to continuing care, that every place we go, we have this sort of network. And then we push this resilience that, look, we could get through this, right? But if we put these methodologies in place, if we put these resources in place, we could all get through this. So we just need, as people of the Virgin Islands, to accept and embrace it and say, you know what, we could overcome many of the situations that we face, but we got to deal with the trauma in our home. We got to deal with the trauma in our community. We got to deal with the trauma because guess what? You're going to find yourself at some point in time making present decisions based off of past trauma. Let me say it again, right? You don't want to find yourself making present decisions right now in the present based off of past drama or past trauma. And we could change that if we're able to uncover the trauma and say, how do we deal with this? Death is something that happens to everyone around the world, right? How do we deal with death? COVID happened to everyone. How do we cope with COVID? How do we deal with these situations? Get the resources, build the relationships and networks, and then start to push for the resilience of the entire Virgin Islands.
Right.
And when you say that, like, we really have to understand what trauma and those things are, because of course we watch these Lifetime movies, these Tyler Perry things, and we think everything is really dramatic, and it's really not. Like with COVID, just like being out, if you're out in the grocery store and somebody sneezes, that's feeling in your stomach, that's anxiety. It's not like something crazy or something far out there. So it's really like having more of these conversations to normalize the things that we're going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is good. All right, back to the comments. So Genece Provo said, you are only as sick as your secrets. Being open about your mental health is important to seeking help and support.
Shout out to Genece, class of 2001. Ken Uno, big up yourself. Yes, yes, yes. Very powerful, true.
To my assistant principal.
All right, shout out to Jay. So Zaid said, can you talk about taking time to find the right therapist or resources for you? Not all therapists understand the Black community, Caribbean community, or are the best fit for you.
That is so big. Like people, like you will go to a hairstylist or a barbershop or a barber and, you know, they do something wrong and you find another one and you move on. But, you know, people will go to a therapist and like, oh no, this person was horrible. I'm never going to therapy again. And it's not like that. You have to find someone who appeals to you, who you relate to, whether it's gender or their background or their specialties, what they study. You have to find the person for you. And if that takes going to different people, that's okay. Like, that's fine.
Genece is absolutely right, because again, when I was going through my mental health issues before, I was at Mind, Body, and Soul, and I was just like, I was telling my stories, and I was just like, I don't think she gets it. Like, again, what Rain Man said with the energy, feeling the energy from the person that you're connecting with. I felt like I was not connecting with her. So I stopped going to therapy. And so I went to the doctor recently and I was sitting down and I just started crying. And Veronica was like, Deitra, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I say, it's a lot. I'm going through a lot, but no one knows what you're going through until they actually stop and talk to you. So like, let's talk about you're losing your house. Let's talk about from that to losing your best friend. Like, I was literally like 160 pounds. And after I lost my house and my best friend and developing anxiety attacks that were constant, I was like, I'm a mess, I'm a wreck. And so when I was like, a lot of people was like, Deitra, what's going on with you? You're getting small. And I was like, stress. And I was like, for me, I mean, now I could laugh about it. Yeah. But I mean, at the time going through it, I was like, I'm fine. Like, it's okay. And Veronica.
And you're breaking up.
Admitted me to, I forgot her first name, but it's Miss Jones. Nisha Jones. So I'm currently seeing her. And the first topic that we dealt with was coping with death. And so she definitely helped me a lot, because before I was not able to talk about it, but now I'm more comfortable. And I can honestly say my first session with her was completely different to where I was at first. So Zaid is like finding a person that you connect with.
Yeah. Big shout out to Nisha Jones. I just happened to go to school with her too. Yeah. Big up to Nisha Jones and the work that she's doing. I'm seeing her doing a lot, you know, of wellness, mental well-being. And again, these are so imagine how Deitra was able to connect, right, with Nisha, right? Nisha is from home. She kind of understands, right? And that understanding, you know, just brings a different vibe to it. I'm not saying everybody have to be from your same country or anything like that. It's just saying, though, that there is something when somebody could connect with you and you feel like, yo, you could understand me. It changes the dynamic. And sometimes you got to talk to multiple people to find that one. And it might take some time, but guess what? It's just like if I have this one trainer and this one trainer in the gym don't work out for me, I might have to say, you know what? Let me find somebody else who I could deal with, who I could rock with, right? I might get, a Bernard Douglas, right? To go ahead and work with rather than, you know, because he's the bad man, right? And I could work with him. So you got to find who works for you. Same way you do it for physical, do it for your mental as well. I'm giving all these people a shout out because these are people who I respect a whole lot.
Yes. And also remember, it's not going to always be comfortable. You know what I mean? It may not be comfortable in the beginning, but you're going to stick with it. Kind of like that reference that Genece made to the hairdresser. You know, you might go and she might screw up your hair once, but you're still going to go back. So you just have to be consistent and just kind of, you know, trust the process, trust your process, you know. Sorry to the guys, I'm trying to keep up with these comments, but this is a topic that everybody has. So I'm trying to keep up with the comments. Haley Kagan, hey Kalani, she said the biggest thing in the Virgin Islands or as Black people as a whole is asking for help, whether emotionally or in any form, is a sign of weakness. So I think that goes back. It's like a cultural thing, you know?
So could I turn that over? It said today, right? I want to break it right now for everyone. To ask is not a problem. To ask, ASK, is only to actively seek knowledge. And if you look at it from that perspective, I am actively seeking knowledge about how to deal with my mental. I am actively seeking knowledge about how to cope right through COVID. I'm actively seeking knowledge. And we got to break this whole thought that it's a weakness to ask, right? My mother used to be on my back over and over and over. If you're in school and you don't understand, ask the question, right? It's the same thing we need to do for our lives. Be willing to ask. And for the whole Virgin Islands, please understand, to ask is to actively seek knowledge. We need the knowledge on how we could work on our mind. And I guarantee you, when you work on the mental, financial, every other part of your life goes to a completely different level. But it starts with the nucleus, which is your brain.
Right, right. Oh, okay. This is a lot. All right. So Julia Joseph, she also said, oh wait, I skipped over Zaid. Zaid said drink tea is more common response than it's gonna be okay. Facts.
Drink some tea. And if it's rub down with some Vicks.
Julia Matthews said parents can only give what they got, which is so true. You know, so I apologize to, you know, the parents who but it goes all back to what we were just talking about with Deitra. You know, parents are going through so much. You got COVID, people losing their job. You don't know how you're gonna pay your bills. And then you got these kids, you know, that are also going through it and you're trying to make it okay. So, you know, it's a lot. And that's why we kind of need to sometimes press pause and really just take care of yourself and seek the, you know, the assistance and the help that you need, because, you know, mental health it's really serious. Bless Tony Lynn said pray and be practical. That's
my sister. She's here in New York. Big her up. She's here in New York with us.
She said nugget from Sherman Browne. I'm like, what? All right, so shout out to the sis.
Yes.
Talking about things, Kalani said, talking about things as well. You know, you never know who is going through what you're also going through. People fear being pointed at or laughed at. We have to create a safe space for that to happen, especially for our kids. Most definitely.
So how you gonna talk and make jokes about Deitra now, right? When she's the one who shared her story and say, look, I sought the help and I'm getting help now. So you stay there on the side, whispering, murmuring, gossiping, right? I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think too, sometimes, you know, I'm big on like testimonies, because sometimes, you know, just off top, Deitra just sharing her story, like that could have saved so many, because you never know what people are going through. You might look at me and think that everything is all fine and dandy, but you don't know what people are going through. So that's why it's always good to just be kind and, you know, just be there for one another. Kayla Anthony said mental health has a lot to do with communication, and communication within the VI as a whole is in shambles. We rather tell someone you always bawling about something instead of taking the time to find why that person is always having this reoccurring issue. Communication is key. Y'all preaching tonight.
Let we talk. Let we communicate. Let we talk.
That's big too, because another thing that I'm learning, like even with doing therapy down here, for kids or even family sessions, like people say things and have no idea or don't even think about how it's impacting the person that you're saying it to. So like for your physical health, the things that you eat and stuff is important, but for your mental health, the thing that you hear and the thing that you're seeing, that's important. So for our kids, for our family members, we really have to pay attention to the things that are coming out of our mouth. It's not just like free for all, say what you want, because these things really matter.
Yeah. Yep.
And, wow. and not because you heard it and you were able to take it when your parents said it doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect on somebody else. You know, sometimes we take it lightly, but it's serious. If you just think about how the human body works, what comes through these eyes and is heard through our ears shapes our heart and our mind, comes out in our attitudes and actions. And when you say certain things that demean someone, I never forget when I read this article. It was a young lady, she had committed suicide. But this was a young lady, the post on Instagram, everything looked like her life was the best. She wrote a letter, and in the letter, she said in the letter, right, that I know that I should not be feeling down because everything is working out for me. But I've gotten to a point in my life where I feel that hope is just deferred disappointment. Ooh. She said, I felt that hope is now deferred disappointment. And all I could think to myself, how did she get to that point? I don't know what factors played a role in that, but here was a young lady who ended up committing suicide, who looked like she had it all together, but mentally she was just going through what she was going through. And it was a sad case. It was a sad situation. You know, the fact that even in America, suicide ideation, the thought of suicide is on the rise, right? And we think this thing is a light thing. It's not. But if you don't talk about the things and you suffer in silence, you are with yourself 24/7, saying and repeating those messages to your mind all the time. And at any point in time, we could be gone. Let's not wait, especially in the Virgin Islands, till people start dropping. And then we say there's a problem. And the problem that I have sometimes, to be honest with you, I love the Virgin Islands, but everything in the Virgin Islands is important. The problem is nothing is urgent. Everything is important. Oh, it's important, yo. We got to deal with this situation, but it's not urgent. And if we don't make it urgent, we can't really deal with the situations. Look, AIMHIGH been coming down there for a while saying, get AIMHIGH in the schools, we're ready to rock. If we're doing it in New York, we could do it down there. But it's not urgent enough, and we got to make these things urgent.
AIMHIGH, you're welcome to Genece Sprout School.
Amen.
For sure, we're going to come down there with Society 340, find that collaboration, start making things happen. We're going to make it urgent. No longer will this continue to be a problem. Remember, we said it here tonight, May 20th, 2021.
Let's talk about school year 2021, August, September, Dior. We're going to get together with AIMHIGH.
Say less. Say no more.
All right.
Say no more. All right. Okay, this is really good. So back to the comments. Zaid said having the wrong people around you will have you thinking that to ask is to be a pain in the ass, which is so true. It goes back to, you know, it goes back to your circle. I always say, you know, make sure that, you know, you're not always the one that's being asked for things. Make sure that, you know, you can also ask. And if you can't ask the same help that your circle is asking you for, then you need a new circle. So
yeah, absolutely. Let me turn that one on its head too, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Zaid, I want Zaid to understand, just like other people on there, right? Like, I don't go to broke people to ask them how to become rich. Ooh. You understand? So sometimes the people that you're talking to, right? You got to be careful who you're bringing the issue to, right? I'd rather talk to a professional who studied this, who knows how to deal with this, than to talk with somebody who might themselves could possibly be broken. And it's easy to give constructive criticism when you haven't constructed anything. Like, I can't deal with that, right? So I don't take advice from people I'm not willing to trade places with. I would prefer to go to a professional, somebody who knows what they're doing, and not just talk to the friend down the street. That could get me to a certain level, but it can't get me to the highest level that I need to get to. And we're all learning. We don't have the answers. When you start making it seem like I'm a pain in the butt because I'm asking for help, then I know not to ask you for help. Right? I'll go to somebody who's open to it, right? I'll go to a Genece. I'll go to a Nisha. I'll find people who's doing it and ask them, because they're the ones who are actually studying this.
Yeah. Okay.
I got time today, Virgin Islands.
You got a lot of time today.
Woo! Sherman said we got time today. All right. So Zaid again, he said, understand that older folks have trauma too. There's a reason that they don't talk to certain family members or go to certain places to avoid certain topics, which is so true. Debbie Joseph said, talking about your feelings can help you stay in good mental health and deal with times when you feel troubled.
Class of 2001, shout out to you.
Hel said, the past 4 years have been difficult for the Virgin Islanders who have dealt with the 2017 hurricanes and then a pandemic. With a tandem are credited for changing our normal lives to the reality that we live in today. However, they have provided us with a deeper understanding of and empathy for the ongoing mental health challenges endured by our neighbors, friends, and family. This panel and conversation are great and definitely a step forward toward the forthcoming solution. Great job, everyone. So shout out to him for that.
Big shout out to you.
Huh?
So I just wanted to mention, like, one of the things that's so great about here is that you guys went through these storms. You guys went through 2 storms, and then you could literally look outside your window and see that life is a cycle, but you always make your way through it. So you had storms that came and destroyed everything, and you could literally just look out your window and see that it's going to be okay. So I might be in a storm right now, but life is a cycle. Things will grow back. Things will get better. And once you have that mentality that like everything's going to be okay, it might be rough now, but I'm gonna make it out, because that is the cycle of life. It's so much easier to just live. And you all can see that when you just look through your window.
Perspective from the licensed social worker, right? The therapist perspective. We need it.
Wow. Okay, I'm trying to, my edges at this point are gone. Okay, jeez. All right, so bless Tony Lynn, this again. The consequences of trauma need to be recognized as a generational curse. As a people, Caribbean or Black American, we have been taught to mask trauma as part of our normal. Most of our Black families have ignored/lived with trauma and passed it down from one generation to the next. This results in generational curses which affect mental stability and manifest itself as mental illness. We endure sexual, emotional, psychological, and social abuse as if these are acceptable. We are told to move past it. And then as children forced into code, what goes on in the house stays in the house. This was the cover statement to permit abuse. And to commit abuse, this was the cover statement to permit abuses to recur in the household.
Wow.
I mean, where do we start?
That in itself is so powerful. Look, passing down this generational curse, right? I want you to think about this, right? One of my biggest fears, and I'm gonna be honest with you, when COVID hit, and I know people had to quarantine, one of my biggest fears and my biggest concerns were young people who were quarantined with people who are abusing them and causing more trauma in their life, where school was an escape for them to get away from the trauma. Exactly. And now they're quarantined with the trauma. That is not an easy thing to deal with. So what she just said, what Tony just said, right, is so true. And we got to break it. And look, again, I want to talk to the folks who were older. You did an awesome job getting us going, right? Like you brought us to a certain level. There were certain things that you went through and that you learned that you passed on to us. Is great, but there's still some things, right, that could be improved. And the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. We could all improve. So taking this new approach of saying, you know what, I want to take what I know and what I've been through, but then couple it with some of the practical things, right? And then also do some self-reflection on what may I be doing that's also causing trauma. And that's the thing we don't want to talk about. We never want to confront. It's easy to confront everybody else. But when it comes to confronting ourselves, we look in the mirror and we duck. No, it's not me. It's not me. And we try to hide away from it. And we got to confront that for ourselves, because if not, then we're passing down generational trauma. Yeah. And where does it stop? Society 340, aim high, healing minds in the Virgin Islands. It stops now.
Yes, definitely.
It stops now.
Wow. Okay. Trying to get everybody in. June Challenger. I am so proud of my nephew Sherman, the rapper who is now my hero. Aim High 2022 and just doing big things.
Blessings. That's to my dear aunt, family like no other, always supportive. Much love to you. Yes.
Yes, shout out
She's
to
everyone's aunt.
And she
good night, Auntie Carla.
She'll come in swinging, first, no question asking. Like, shout out to Auntie True Method. All right, so Eric Provost, a person seeking help or wanting to talk about their issues also sometimes feels like they are being a burden. We need to be more open to the signs of our loved ones and peers when they approach us. It takes nothing out of us to support one another.
Yeah, that's facts. Hey, look, tell Eric to put that in and sing that, because if he even sing that, I guarantee you that lay down our heart. That is so true. It's not a burden. It's not a burden, and it could feel like that sometimes. But Eric, true, man. Very powerful words right there.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. We caught up everybody. Leanne Oquendo is saying, awesome. Congratulations, guys. Good job, guys.
Pass Street massive.
Matthias, awesome, powerful conversation. your sis again. And then so Julia Joseph, she commented earlier and I pinned the comment because it's, you know, so kind of turn gears again and talk about healing minds in the VI. She said that we need help for our single moms, building a community to make a difference. So now that brings in healer minds in the VI.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, definitely. You know, so let's talk about healing minds in the VI. We have created healing minds in the VI, and I am like beyond excited. Like
hold on, man. Hold on, Dior. Let me stop you right there 1 second. Hold on. Let me introduce you, Dior, so you could talk about this. Look, the founder and CEO of Society 340 decided, right, that she didn't want us to just be doing a whole bunch of talking. While this is called Let We Talk, she wanted to take some action. So she put out a post one day that brought together a number of people. And she said, look, we got to do something, especially here in the Virgin Islands. And she said that I have a great idea and I want to get your feedback. And when she started talking about it, we started to get fired up. We started to get excited. And it gave birth to something that's about to hit the Virgin Islands and take it by storm. We're going to deal with this mental health issue by healing minds in the Virgin Islands. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the CEO and founder of Society 340, Miss Dior Parsons. Let's give her a round of applause.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Wasn't ready for that. Thank you, Sherman. But yeah, it all started from a status on Facebook. What was that? A couple months? That was a little minute ago. And, you know, we've just been meeting. We've met every week. So, you know, it just shows you, you know, a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. And, you know, we're definitely, we're going to change the VI and we're going to change the world. AIMHIGH and Sherman Browne has been like, you know, God, like Sherman is when you think of godsend, think of Sherman. Like, I mean, he has just been so instrumental and so helpful. AIMHIGH is doing amazing things in New York and all over the world. And so we are so excited to bring, you know, AIMHIGH to the VI through Society 340 and through Healing Minds in the VI. And, you know, our mission is to do exactly what we're doing right now, bring it to the table, change the stigma, and just, you know, change our community, create a safe space, create more conversations, get more people involved. You know, I want to shout out the rest of the group. So we have Karina, Andretti, Shaniqua, Genece is here as well. And then, you know, we have on a bigger scale, the rest of the group, Miss Wells, Kalani, Jackie, Kima, Willett, you know, it's a lot of us. And we've been really, really working hard, meeting every week. So we have some events planned. You know, we're going to come into the schools. You know, Sherman is basically going to bring AIMHIGH, and, you know, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You know, he's already got and the wheel is turning. Okay. I mean, y'all can see here, Sherman, I mean, he knows his stuff, you know? So he has been so helpful, and, you know, he's already done the work and he's just handing it off to us. But that's one of the things that I love so much about St. John, you know, Sherman, you know, born and raised here. And even though he's, you know, in the States doing his thing, he's always going to make sure that we're taken care of here. So he was like, look, man, like I got the whole thing down packed. Let's just, you know, all we got to do is deliver it there. So we are, and we are so excited. And so we have a brunch coming up for our mothers. It is free of charge. We just want to create just a space for you guys to just be acknowledged, and just relax and just take care of yourself, man. Self-care. We got something coming up for the men and the fathers in June. We got things for the kids coming up in August. And then, you know, hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'm speaking it into existence, you know, in the school year, September, we'll be in the schools and we'll be, you know, doing things. I know Love City Strong and Ian and Deitra as well in the school, they have a healing room. So we're gonna try to hop on that. And, you know, we have so many things planned. So, you know, you guys just definitely stay tuned and hit me up if you wanna get involved. We are so excited. So again,
could we talk Could we talk about that brunch and that look, here's what it's called, guys. It's for the mothers, right? This is going to be coming up soon. Mothers mental maintenance. Let's do the mental maintenance checkup. See how things are going in your mind. Let's talk, let's eat, let's relax, let's keep things nice. And then for the men, we're about to do it for the men, because men, look, we got to start expressing ourselves. I was so glad to have Rain Man here tonight, right? Because we got to do the men's mental maintenance. Men, you know when the engine light come on the car, right? It said we need the checkup, right? So we need to do it for our mental. Let's do a mental men's maintenance checkup. We're gonna get together and have that time to eat, to talk, to freely express, and to start to break down the stigma and let the world know that mental health is a thing that we could deal with. It's Mental Health Awareness Month right now. We could address it, and we could do it in the Virgin Islands. Let's break the stigma. Let's make it happen.
Yes. So I'm so excited. Healing Minds in the VI, we're coming and we're gonna heal minds, man. I'm really, really excited. So I definitely want to just thank you so much, Sherman. I mean, literally godsend, and I'm so excited. You know, you came here fired up, and you know, you're fired up every meeting, you know, and I'm so thankful for you. So I just want to take this time to just give you all the graces, you know, just thank you. You're definitely godsend. So I'm so excited. So the Mother's Mental Maintenance Brunch is gonna be the 30th of this month, and it's gonna be at Genece. And we will have more information for you shortly about how you can RSVP. And we wanna, you know, just create that space for you guys, and we have so much more coming up. We'll post the dates for the men's mental maintenance lunch that will be held at Drifter's Tiki Bar. So we're so excited. Gonna go back to the chat is like blowing up right now.
and just so they know, right? We ain't just doing this without professionals, right? We got Genece, who's a professional on the line, who's gonna play a key role in helping us to structure, get this stuff together. Deitra just gave you the story and gave you the reality, right? Lived experiences. So we got the expert, because these experts have experiences that's gonna contribute to all of our lives. So yeah, man, this is next level. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
And I mean, and then we have Sherman, the guru, the professional, the godsend, the hero, okay? So definitely shout out to you, Sherman. So Zaid said, I want to come back and talk to some youths. I think I have a lot to share that can help. Holding you to it, Zaid, definitely. Still a long way to go.
Welcome aboard, Zaid.
Okay.
Add him to the group chat.
Jarrell Penn said, do that for sure. The youths need all of this. Yeah, definitely excited. You know, I can't stress enough Sherman is, when y'all have some time, just look up AIMHIGH, AIMHIGH. I could spell.
Yeah. AIMHIGH Empowerment Institute. No, man, but don't worry, they can link us up right here. Society 340, we're gonna be together. They'll get all the information that they need. Yes. You can see it in the New York, but I know when we do it in the Virgin Islands, it's going to a completely different level.
Yes. Zaid again said, St. STJ, let's be the example. One Smile Island can make a world of a difference. Facts. So
small island doing big things. Big things.
I try my best. Jarrell said, I totally agree with you. I try my best with the ones that are in my circle, but there are so many of them that are lost and do not know where or who to turn to. And shout out to Jarrell. I want to touch on him for a little bit. He is my family, so he holds a special place in my heart. And Jarrell is one of the most hardworking, humble people that I know. And he you know, through his work driving trucks, whatever kids click to him, he kind of takes them under his wheel and, you know, sticks to them, shows them, shows them the way. So shout out to you, Jarrell. I love you so
them
much.
Past Street man, impactful, you know. Them Past Street man, impactful.
Here we go. Okay. CFM. All right. Okay. Shamal Thomas, they definitely need a bigger presence. Yes, we were blessed with our father figures, and I would love to do it with great men like you both. All right, Shamal, Zaid, Jarrell.
You can write these names down.
So I'm so excited.
Make sure you write these names down.
Yeah, man, don't worry. They're in the chat. We got it. We got them locked in.
Yeah, I have the proof. The proof is in the pudding, okay? Cindy Hendricks, to confront your trauma equates to people feeling / thinking that they're not perfect. We were raised to think that we all fit and conform to socialized expectations for the life to be perfect. However, if we start / continue to self-analyze, we see that we were flawed by inception.
Facts, 100%. And look, progress beats perfection any day of the week. You'll never reach perfection. You'll never reach perfection. So it's just about progress. And this is all about making progress. That's 100% facts.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. The chat is blowing up as usual, but I don't think the chat has ever been this live. And so I am so excited. I'm so happy to see that everyone else is excited. And I'm going to hold all of you, Shamal, Jarrell, Zaid. I'm going to be calling y'all. So I just appreciate everyone. Rookie Library, I just want to point out that Sherman came from a big class of greatness. Oh my God.
2001, big up yourself, 20-year anniversary. Shout out to you. I know we're getting old, but we're still young. Yes.
No, but that's awesome. So, you know, it's so rewarding that we're talking about mental health, and it's, you know, that it's so live, and it's so Zaid, Sherman, whole class came to represent exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Eric,
man.
progress beats perfection. Exactly. So we're starting here, and we're definitely gonna make progress. Caden Richards, shout out to Caden, y'all. So, okay, just take a break. Caden Richards. So let me tell you about Caden. So I wanted to do a photo shoot for the seniors because they kind of got gypped out of their class photo in St. Thomas. So something about there not being any St. John students in the class photo, right? So I called Caden. I was like, hey, Caden, you know, I'm trying to do like a photo, like a class photo with just the St. John graduates. And literally he asked no price. Cool, when, where, I'm down. Like anytime I call him, he is always down, and he just comes with his little camera and a little umbrella looking thing. And I mean, he's ready. And he came out there, this man he been walking from high morning. He's like, look, I get off at 5, I'm gonna come straight there. So shout out to you, Caden. I really, really appreciate you.
Big shout out to Caden. Hey,
but
connected to Cordell Boynes, you know what I mean? Former dancer, you know what I mean? The whole crew. Shout out to Caden family for life. Yo, that's a humble brother right there. He sends me messages all the time. Connect with me. Yo, that brother going to a completely different level.
He is. So Caden said, yes, we need more mentors. We really do. So all of these people on the live, all of these people on this chat, you know, y'all need to step up, and, you know, I'm thanking you in advance for stepping up and just mentoring our kids. Kenesha
Could we tag these people, DR? I want to call them from now on, right? Every person who said they want to be involved, every person, we're taking down names, we're getting numbers, we're getting emails and everything. You guys are going to become official mental health healers for Healing Minds in the Virgin Islands. So you guys are all part of the healers community. That's a new thing we're starting right now. Healers, come out, join us. Let's heal the Virgin Islands.
Gonna make a shirt. I'm a healer. Okay.
Yeah.
Kenesha Small, no long talk. I'm down for helping youth, seniors, mothers, fathers, the community. Let's make a change. Yes, that shout out to Kenesha. She's also very, very involved in the community with her personally through her work with Love City Strong. So shout out to Kenesha. Debbie Joseph, class of 2001, # Uno. Okay, class of 2001.
We're in the house, heavy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then we got Shin Talbert, correct, we in here, class of 2001. Okay, class of 2001.
Yeah, we in here.
Okay.
Yo, you see, because all the class of 2001 are healers.
Yes. But hey, Chanel, I also love Chanel.
That's Chanel, big up Chanel.
Yes. Nisha Jones is here. Nisha Jones,
the healer.
therapist using holistic principles. So shout out to Nisha.
Nisha and Genece need to connect to talk more too.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna make that connection. Zaid, Sherman has the type of energy you can't keep a frown around. Bad man don't skin teeth though.
Don't skin teeth.
Man, awesome. So yes, Nisha said, yes, I am. So we'll make that connection. And I'm definitely excited, man. Nisha, thank you. I am so happy to help. I know you are. So thank you guys. This has been, I am so excited. I cannot wait for all the things that are gonna come from this. And, you know, God was definitely here tonight because I could see that, you know, just from the conversation and, you know, Sherman, you coming in here on fire, you know, amazing things are going to come from this. And, you know, we're all going to be healers at the end of it. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Healers United, HU, let's go.
Okay, between the HU and the class of 2001, I can't. It's just, I cannot. So what else? Are there any questions, anything else that y'all want to touch on before we close out?
Man, I just personally want to say I appreciate the love for the Virgin Islands. You know, every place where I go, where I speak, I always mention, you know what I mean, where it started from. People hear the glory or see the glory, but they don't know the story. And in the Virgin Islands, we have a strong and powerful story. We have a strong and powerful story. We got to let it be known, and we got to get people like Deitra talking more, right? Sharing and opening up. That gives other people permission, and we got to share these stories because that's what's going to help us to elevate. Let's stop hiding. Let's stop staying in the corner. Let's stop with the bickering on who's on Rock and who's on Love City and who's in Cruise. It's like, yo, we got to get united. We got to start working together. And I'm looking forward to this. Again, my experience has often been everything is important, nothing is urgent. We got to make this urgent because our families, our children, our young people are depending on it. And every time I see a newspaper article coming out about the VI and I hear the things that's going on there, I'm like, look, it's not like we can't stop this. We could turn this stuff around. We just got to believe in it enough and get out of the bickering and the gossip and focus on taking the action. So I'm glad to connect with people who are movers and who are shakers. Genece, Deitra, you know, Dior, Karina, the whole team. You know, I don't want to miss anybody name, but the whole team who's been meeting on a weekly basis. And for all the healers who's going to be joining the movement, let's go out there and make things happen. Society 340, we're in the house.
Yes, definitely. And I just want to shout out, you know, I've been shouting out Sherman. And Sherman, I'm telling you, this live is, I mean, this chat is lit. Zaid said that you are a pep rally just in itself. So definitely came in on fire. And this is an amazing topic. Kathy Lee said this was a great topic. Great job, everyone. And someone, Cindy Hendrickson, Uno, I guess, that's your hashtag?
Uno, yeah. 2001, one is Uno. We represent all the time. Yep.
Okay. No, but seriously, I just want to shout out you, Deitra. You know, just sharing, you know, just, you know, where we're from. It's not always easy to share your story. You share your story and be vulnerable. And I know the first time we spoke, you were almost in tears. I don't know if you were already in tears because it was over the phone, but I was in tears just to hear your story and just to hear, you know, the strength in your voice and, you know, everything that you've been through. So definitely just want to commend you because, you know, you were going through something that I couldn't imagine having to go through. And all the while still dealing with your own struggles and then still being a mom and, you know, still dealing with your family and then working in school and still dealing with all these little beautiful faces and having to stay strong for them. So definitely we want to shout out you and, you know, your strength and getting through it and just thank God that you were able to get through it. But it really broke my heart when you said, you know, that you had got to the point where you couldn't do it anymore. And you just was like, God, you know, I can't take any more, you know, and all you could do was pray. You know, I wish that, you know, that we had something set up there for you. So I'm just thankful that you were able to, you know, find a way to make it through. And I'm glad that you're now, you know, part of the process for, you know, moving forward for people who may be going through something just like you, because, you know, I would see you all the time and think you're perfectly fine, you know? So definitely shout out to you, shout out to your shout out to your family, shout out to Doughty, you know, he is Yes, definitely want to shout out Doughty. While we were, quick story about Doughty, we were, when COVID had just like surfaced here on St. John, we kind of started taking care of our seniors first. We wanted to make sure that they were staying in the house. And so we started giving out groceries and I would pass by Pine Piece and because my job was like, oh, we're gonna have to get volunteers. I was like, no. I gonna pass by Pine Piece, like Kyle and Boy, everybody hopped in my truck. Shamal also was very, very helpful. And Doughty I passed Pine Piece one time and Doughty was there. So him and Pi, Smarty, Powell, and the whole squad, they hopped in the back and we went to there and they helped me offload the groceries and then load them back in. And every Wednesday after that, Doughty was there at 2 o'clock because he knew that was the time. I never had to call. I mean, he is so helpful. You know, and so definitely shout out to him. I am, you know, he's one of the strongest people I know. He's such an amazing father. And so shout out to you, Dalty. I am so happy that, you know, you made it through, and, you know, you have an amazing family that was there to support you. So I'm definitely happy for you, and shout out to Dalty.
For sure, for sure. Could I say this as well, as I guess you get ready to wrap up? I do want to say, because, you know, St. John in particular, right? We feel everything that happened, we feel it all. And as much as we, you know, go to our own homes and go to our own corners, we know what we feel. And, you know, we had some recent passing away of some folks, right? That while we might have said rest in peace and that was a one-time thing or whatever the case may be, they deal with that trauma every day, knowing that they lost a loved one, right? So big shout out to a young man with great energy like Seneca, right? Big shout out to a young man with good energy like Akeem. These guys were younger than me, and I remember seeing these young men in the islands, and I know their families, right? Because St. John is small. We know each other. So I know it's not an easy thing that anybody's going through at this time. And we want you to know that the healers are here for you as well, right? That we're here to support you through this time, right? We might be excited, but we also recognize the things that you guys may be going through. And while we might not feel your exact pain, we just want you to know that we are here. And these type of things, right, it's one thing to come around up until the funeral. But I always say, right, people don't recognize that it's important to spend most of your time in your life with the people who will cry the most after your funeral. Because after the funeral, there's some people who are continuing to cry year after year who don't get back that person. So we just want them to know that we are there for them. And I would like to especially say, you know, Genece, you know, Nisha and stuff like that, let's figure out, you know, if these families need more support, whatever it is, we just want you to know we're here for you. We're not trying to push nothing on you. We just want you to know that we are here for you. And this is what this is about. We're going to go through more trauma in our lives. Let's be there for each other and help each other to get through it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. You made me cry.
Yes,
so Genece, you have any?
I over here trying to hold up my yes.
Yeah, but no, it's definitely important. And I think too, even with Seneca's death and Akeem, it was, you know, it took your breath away.
Home.
You know?
It hit home.
It hit home, and it makes you just appreciate life more. And so, you know, if there's anyone that's not appreciating life, you know, because they're struggling or, you know, they're going through any type of stress, just, you know, my way of healing is prayer. But it may not be for everyone, but I am here to pray for you. So even if you're not religious or, you know, I'm here to help in any way that I can, but that's how I heal. So I am always here to pray for anyone. I'm not a preacher, but, you know, I have a special relationship with God, and I'm always here to pray for anyone. But, you know, just ask for help. Just say when you're not okay, and just surround yourself with people who love you, and just take care of yourself, man, because you know, that I think that changed everybody's life, especially on St. John. Like, it was just a blow for us that I don't think we I don't know if we'll ever catch ourselves from that, but we're definitely here to heal. We are healers. And so definitely thank you for that, Sherman. So that was important. Genece, you got anything before I go back to the...
Well, while we're thanking people, I want to thank you, Dior. You know, I grew up in Maryland and spent my summers and everything down here. And I always knew that I wanted to go to college and get my degree, get my master's, and get my license and stuff to do therapy, to, you know, be able to do things in the mental health field. And I got all of my certificates, and then here comes this post from Dior. So I really want to thank you, because it's like my dreams are coming true. And I really see the progress that we're doing. You know, we are meeting every week for an hour, 2 hours to really get things done. And I'm just really excited to be a part of this team. To the people that are listening, I just want to tell you all, you know, to be easy on yourself, do your best. Sometimes your best looks 100% one day. Sometimes it might be around 90, 80, wherever you are today or whatever day it is, you know, be easy on yourself and do whatever your best looks like that day.
That's good.
I'm also here for anyone. If you guys want to DM or send a message, or even message the Society 340 page of any services or things that you need, or that you want to suggest, we're here. So let us know.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Go ahead, Deitra. Oh, you breaking up a little bit. She's breaking up, so
as
I'll
well,
go.
viewers, if you just need to like talk to. Okay, so I'm also here if anyone needs to reach out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
You can hear me? Okay, good. I am here. I'm at the school. Catch me when you can. If I'm not at the school, I'm somewhere. But definitely shout out to Dior for doing this. The live is lit, so you can tell if anyone on the live wants to share their stories as well and be a part of this movement. Let we talk.
Hello. Yes. Yes, thank you all. Definitely shout out to the rest of the team, Karina, Andretti, Shaniqua, Kima. I appreciate you guys. I just want to mention too, you know, this isn't something that they're paid for. You know, they meet, when I say every week for an hour, 2 hours. And, you know, they take the time because it's something that they're passionate about and they genuinely want to help. So I definitely want to shout them out. And I am so excited that, you know, everyone on, help me with everyone. Yeah, I'm speaking it into existence. Everyone on this live wants to get involved and become healers or just, you know, maybe get healing. So I'm definitely excited. And I thank God for, you know, all of the things that are going to come from this amazing conversation. Thank you, Sherman, for being on fire, because I feel like, you know, you started on fire. So that just kind of set the tone for the rest of the night. So I'm so excited. Zaid said the class of 2001 going to pull a muscle repping so hard, going to need some icy hot. So definitely just want to thank you guys. So to anyone on the live that maybe your comment I missed over, or, you know, there was something else that you wanted to touch on, reach out to me. You could DM, hit me up on social media, Society 340. We have a page, we have a website, www.society340.org. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, we have everything. So if there's any reason or any way that you want to reach out, you could also email info@society340.org. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, you know, we have these live platforms every month. So if you want to hop on, or if there's a topic that you want to touch on, I know, you know, mental health is so huge. And so there's only so many things that we could discuss, you know, tonight, but we are definitely here to keep the conversation going. Again, mark your calendar, mothers, May 30th, Mother's Mental Maintenance. And for the men's mental maintenance, we will keep you posted. Healing Minds in the VI, we are here and we're excited. So if anyone doesn't have anything else, I just want to thank all the viewers. Shout out to Rain Man for hopping on. I know he's really, really busy, but you know, when I reached out to him, you know, he was down for it. So I definitely want to shout him out and thank him. And again, I cannot thank you guys enough. Sherman, you know, you already know what it is. So I appreciate y'all so much. So if y'all don't have anything else, Sherman, I'll actually let you close it out because, you know, you came in on fire. So close it out on fire.
Yes. So most important, be kind to your mind. Be kind to your mind. That's what we need to do as a Virgin Islands family. Let's stick together. Let's work together. Let's go out there and make things happen. I want to remind you and end with the words from Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, former president of Morehouse College, who said that when you look at your life, you could sum it up in 1 minute. What he said was this: in life, we only have 1 minute with only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon us, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, and didn't choose it. But it's up to us to use it. We will suffer if we lose it, give an account if we abuse it. In life, we all have nothing but a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. And the question we have to ask ourselves, Virgin Islands family, to all the healers who are out there, how are we going to use our minute? How are we going to use our time? Let's use our minute to be impactful. Let's use our minute to be phenomenal. And when we use the minute in that way, we will never be forgotten. This is the beginning of the movement. And we all have a role to play to impact the lives of others. And we impact through our stories. We could impact through our strategies. We could impact through our systems. And when we put these systems into place, we want everyone to take part of it. Whether you need help from the system or you want to contribute to the system, let's go out there and make things happen. So God bless you all. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Shout out to Dior. Shout out Deitra, right? Shout out to Genece, to everyone who viewed in. Let's go out there and make things happen. Society 340, aim high. We're ready to rock and roll. Looking forward to it. God bless you all.
Yes.
Yes, Sherman.
Wow. Well, you got Deitra over there tearing up. You got me with my edges gone. Like it's tonight has definitely been amazing. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna close out with a quick prayer. And again, I see the chat is still, on fire. So we're definitely gonna have another Let We Talk so we could touch a little more on this. We will definitely revisit this. So yeah, shout out again to Uno, class 2001. And shout out to class 2021. I am so proud of you guys. Yes. Shout out to everyone on the live. All right, so I'm gonna be shouting out all night. So let's just.
Sorry, they end in 21, so that's still a Uno at the end of 21. So yeah, they're all together. Yeah.
Anyway, let's close out on a quick prayer. Thank you guys again. I appreciate you so much. Dear Lord, thank you so much. We are fired up, and we just thank you for all the great things that are going to come from this conversation. I ask that you bless Sherman, bless Deitra, bless Genece, bless Andretti, Shaniqua, Akima, the rest of the team, bless all our viewers, dear Lord. And we just thank you in advance for all the amazing things that are going to come from this. In Jesus' name, we praise you and we love you. Amen. Thank you guys so much.
Amen.
Amen.
In the VI.
Yes, healing minds in the VI.
And we'll be back. Again, just reminding everyone, www.society340.org. If you want to email, info@society340.org. Facebook. I mean, everybody really has my number. Hit me up, message, DM, call, hit me up. And then also, Deitra has also made herself available. She's been through it. So, you don't know it unless you've been through it, and she's been through it. So, if you want to air, she has one. So thank you guys. Have an amazing night. We will see you later. All right. Bye guys. Love you, bud.
All right.
All right. Good night.